I don't think you want to start the recording here. This is one of those things you don't want to talk about. But I was going to say, did you militaries in the world equip their soldiers with diapers for morale reasons? Because in the past 20 years, they've statistically peed themselves so many times under fire that they started actually seeing people running away and deserting due to seeing other people's pants soiled. So they started issuing diapers as part of the basic kit so that, you don't see who peed themselves so that you stay brave.
Wow.
Bring me my brown pants.
Only bringing you my Huggies Ultra.
Yeah, you talked about that on Heel Turn, which I listened to this morning.
Oh, okay, so you did hear that. Okay, excellent. I want to throw that out there. This isn't that kind of a show.
I don't care. I don't give a shit. I can't monetize because apparently I don't have enough followers, so whatever.
I'm just saying. I don't shit in other people's yards.
So, hi guys. There's another cold opening. I had an intro, but that
intro went away.
I meant to ask because I have two special guests. The first of all is an old friend of mine. That would be Seph, or Sephiroth, or what do you call yourself?
Sephiroth.
Okay, yeah, Seph. What I went to high school with, and you do your own thing on the internet, which basically you stream and shit, and you got your own following. And then, of course, my special guest. Hi, Adam.
Hi. How's it going? I'm super special.
One of the reasons why I got into started doing this podcast stuff because of Drop Dead Cynical as well as Kek Weekly, which I did name drop last time or in the second episode, and I even put links in the description, which you guys need to listen to now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I have to do the brown nose.
Send me links after this.
It's interesting. The politics of podcasting is something that did not hit me until I started being a co-host and a frequent guest on other people's shows. And the doing the job for other people so that they can get the popularity boost is such a huge part of it that I really enjoy.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure some of my followers, the small handful that there are, don't watch your stuff because there's not that much crossover. So hopefully we get more people, as well as some of Seph's followers, which I'm trying to resist. Get more people to listen to the shows.
Yeah, hopefully we can get more people over to your show too. I mean, that's kind of the goal, is to get crossover from people who don't normally look at stuff but would actually enjoy it.
Yeah. Because you did tell me that you listened to the first episode, so yeah. Which was just me and my friend Black Storm, which that was recorded over a cell phone when we were in the same room, so using my speakerphone. And the reason why he's not in this episode or the second episode is because I'm down in buttfuck nowhere, Ohio right now, visiting family. And
now define buttfuck nowhere, like fucking the goddamn nowhere of Sandusky area, or like down south nowhere.
Down south nowhere. Are you familiar with the village of Camden?
Not intimately, but I'm pretty sure Twisted is, considering she, came up from Stucky to go live in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm the black sheep of my family. I am the city boy in a family full of rednecks.
Oh well, it's got to start somewhere. Could I please stop hitting things? I am multitasking. I'm bumming around the universe in No Man's Sky looking for cobalt, and I will tell you, I am paying more attention to talking than I am to flying because I bounced off like 7 different poles, and it is just. I should be looking out for rocks. They're giant rocks. I don't know how I missed them, but suddenly just not caring and then bounce.
Oh boy! I do mention nowhere in the middle of nowhere, Camden, because apparently what's going on, which I didn't know was a thing right now, is the 127 yard sale, which apparently is the world's longest yard sale. Where along on Highway 127 from like Michigan all the way to fucking Alabama. There's people along that street selling shit, including some of my own family members, like my grandfather who's selling his hunting gun collection to other rednecks.
Well, that's cool.
I didn't know this was a thing.
I'd never heard of that before in my life. That sounds really cool, though.
Yeah, it is. It does sound cool, though. My mom bitches about it because she has to take that street to get to work.
Right.
Seph, you said
That's
you
what
heard
it
about it
is.
too.
I've heard about a different variant of it.
The one that's
Yours
going,
is the 127 yard sale, right?
yeah. Which only
Mine
went
is the one that comes through here is considered the 400-mile yard sale,
so it's not as big as the 127, which is like almost 700 miles.
which goes across Kentucky Highway 68.
Yeah, you're in Kentucky. I'm in Ohio right now, and Adam's in Oregon. We're at three different locations.
You know, if I fart too hard, I'll fly over the river and end up in Idaho. So, I got to stop and watch what I eat. That's how close I live to that border. I swear, a good breeze and a hard fart, and I'll be an Idahoan.
That's pretty much how far I am from the border to Indiana, or at least to the Ohio Arch, which apparently is a freaking thing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I spent a lot of time in Indiana.
That's where I normally live. I normally live in Hammond, which is right outside Chicago by about a half an hour. Which I still remember back in the days when LK was trashing Anal Chawsome, I wanted to be on that quiz show just to wear the shirt that said "Fire the Thick List Retard," because it only cost me $10 to get there.
That's not the worst thing. Yeah, I spent a bunch of time up there because I had a friend named Carol when I was in the Navy going through school. He went through boot camp with me. He went through A school with me and everything. And his family lived up in Hobart. So I spent like every holiday and every 4-day weekend because I couldn't go home. I can't fucking afford a flight on nothing pay from Chicago all the way back out to Oregon. But what I did was I went and hung with his family.
Yeah, Hobart's not far from where I live.
Hobart is not far from where I used to live when I was up in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah. We grew up in Gary. In fact, Seph used
two
to
of
live
us
next
grew
to
up in Gary.
next to a flea market.
I lived right next to a Catholic church.
So was that
which was also
before
next
or
to
after the Gary crime rate did that huge spike?
Which was right next to a flea market. And
I've-
I don't know how that area is now because I've been away from there for like.
Well, for a while they had so
Long
little money to pay for the
time.
actual services there that all the cop cars had the word police spray painted on the side, and they were all white.
Wow.
Yeah, while I was out there, they had they didn't have a lot of violent crime, but the highest like hold up robbery rate in the Western world was in
but
Gary
I was
that year.
living up in that area.
Yeah,
in
Gary
the,
was
80s
at one
and
point.
90s,
Gary was at one point
early
called
$2000s.
the armpit of America. I've heard that described it. Whereas Florida was its wang, we're the armpit. And I moved the next town over, which is not much better.
Aside from all the statistics, I really liked it over there when I got to visit. It was not bad.
I actually miss it up there, to be quite frank.
Until you get held up at gunpoint in your own house by a couple of Latin kings. Because that happened to me.
You can experience that lovely scenario anywhere in LA too. So it's not a Gary exclusive. This is a multi-US problem.
The thing is, where I'm currently living at, I'm out pretty much in the middle of absolutely freaking nowhere. I'm out in the middle of some rural town known as Cadiz, Kentucky.
I have no idea where that is. I've only been to Indiana, Ohio, and Maine, so...
And
Oh, in Massachusetts.
as far as internet goes, very limited. I miss being in a proper city/town
where you can get fiber and shit.
where I can just get in my car. Well, I don't have one. I'm still working on that.
You used
But
to,
if
I remember you used to have one.
If I did have one, I could just get in my car and drive for like maybe 5 minutes, and
What the?
we have to drive for about an hour one way just to get to the nearest town that has a Walmart.
Dang.
Along with all the other necessary shopping centers and venues and whatnot.
That is a fair dang distance.
This area that I live in, believe it or not, doesn't have a McDonald's.
How the? Okay, that's a mathematical impossibility.
No, it's not. I don't have a McDonald's until the next town that's 40 minutes away.
Huh.
I don't have a Starbucks either.
We don't have a Starbucks either.
Yeah.
Well, there's
don't
no
have a
Starbucks around
7-Eleven.
here, but where I live, there is. As well as 4 McDonald's.
Pretty much everything in this town are mom and pop shops.
Yep. I like that kind of living. That's where I'm living now.
That's kind of like what Camden is right now. Which actually is kind of cool. Chidori, you keep the cat keeps hollering at me because I'm not paying attention to her.
Very quiet around these parts.
Drives me
but
insane.
I miss city life.
Drives me insane. I'm like, it's too quiet. I'm used to hearing gunshots and shit. And not just the crazy redneck with an AR-15 at the back in the backyard taking pot shots at the one kill cans that they have over there. I don't know.
You know, you got that, but you can't complain because...
At least they need provocation.
Well, we've got the rednecks that go and shoot the internet fiber boxes off the mountain.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
what?
Well, there's fiber boxes up on the mountain, up on the butte. Amelia, lay down, honey.
Woogie.
And
Hi, Woogie.
and the rednecks like to go up there and go shooting, and they get drunk, and then they shoot at the internet boxes because they can't afford the internet. So screw all them folks who can, and they shoot the boxes apart, and we lose internet for like 6 days. It's like a twice-a-year thing.
Kind of sounds like something my Uncle Komar would have did when he was still alive.
I swear to Christ, it's first day of spring and New Year's Eve every year.
We don't have that, but we do have one thing in our family down here that became such a major problem for the actual cities and stuff that they tried to rectify it. Let me explain the story. We actually do have my family's last name is Asher. There's an actual road down here named after it because it was owned by like a great-grandfather from the 1920s. And the road sign for that has been stolen so many times that the city has put it up like 30 feet higher than the regular regulated height limit thing just to discourage people from climbing the telephone pole. Just to hack it off and just keep stealing it. I have one of those road signs because my Uncle Comer, who lived on Asher Road, kept stealing it for like over 30 years. And now he's dead.
Gravy.
He also had a moonshine distillery, and I think he had a meth lab too.
Well, it's nice to be a business owner.
And he lived out in the middle of nowhere. Literally, it was just like his house was at the end of that road, and there was forest land behind there where he would go hunting. Plus, I think it was, I don't remember if he was or not. I knew he was a biker. I don't know if he was a member of the Hells Angels. He could have been, for all I know. I just remember one crazy story where, for the longest time, he was bald. Couldn't grow hair on the top of his head. So he decides to get the top of his head tattooed with a spider web tattoo motif with a black widow in the center of it. Then his hair started growing again. And this is like after like 20 years of him being bald.
Oh my.
So maybe the tattoo had something to do with his hair coming back.
Yeah, apparently that's better than Rogaine.
Oh, it doesn't work for everybody. Otherwise, Fousey 2 would have a full head of hair again.
Ah, crap. Scratch it open, a fucking mosquito bite. Oh, well, I'll get a Band-Aid later. I'll just bleed on camera. I don't give a shit.
I was going to say, maybe don't. Maybe don't. .com.
I don't. It's not bleeding that bad. I don't care. It was either the cat that did it.
Yes, blame the cat. Always blame the cat.
She keeps grabbing my left arm. That's why. So we had some stories to play or to talk about. Me and Seph have some because we've been bear witness to them. Many of them involve my brother, who was on the last episode. I did tell the one story where we sat in Seph's basement and my brother sprayed the aerosol can on his pant leg, then lit it on fire because he was bored. Which then I told my brother that story, or I told that story. He's like, "Which time did you tell I set my pants on fire?" Because apparently he's done it more than once.
Clarify that, yeah. Jeez.
God, I miss that basement.
I don't. I fell down your stairs and and busted my head on your floor. Thank you very much, sir. You remember that?
Oh, I do remember that.
And yet, that did not knock me out. And apparently, 3 whacks to the back of the head with a frying pan knocked out Black Storm.
That made me feel bad.
Because I was stupid and I wasn't paying attention when I was going up the stairs. And I was like, and I fell backwards and hit my head on the fucking concrete. I'm like, and just had a big headache for the next day or two.
Well, as long as there's no permanent damage.
Apparently, I think my skull is naturally thicker than most people's because I take so many blows to the head and I keep coming.
Well,
I'm
you
not touched
didn't
that
need
one
to
with
say
a
that.
10-foot pole. I don't want to have to launder my clothes.
I may have Homer
launder
Simpson syndrome.
either.
What was that, Seph?
I don't want to have to launder my clothes either. So just keep it in your pants, man. Keep it in your pants.
Yes, please stop coming.
But my pants are still on. Wait, I'm not wearing pants. I'm wearing shorts. Because it's fucking hot outside, man.
At least you clarified. It almost got worse. I was like, can we stop talking about coming? We don't need the Arnold Schwarzenegger moment. He's better than a woman when you're pumping. He's like, you keep coming all day. Stop that, Arnold. You know what?
It's
Michael
audio,
Jordan
dude.
has some advice for you. Stop it. Get some help.
Exactly.
My brother's talking shit behind my back. Because of course he is. Because I'm going to talk shit about him on the air.
Yeah.
Let's just say he had a phase when we were growing up. You remember the show Jackass?
Well, yeah. Of course.
I don't.
Adam, have you ever gone mudding in a shopping cart?
No, because I know that its tiny wheelbase would make that.
Yeah, Anthony, or my brother apparently wants to tell this story. Oh, he's leaving. But my brother and his friend, I'm not going to say his actual name, but I'll call him by his nickname, which was Fez.
Most people don't even know his real name.
Yeah, because he hates his real name. What the fuck just happened? Because it just went silent on my end.
It
No
locally
idea.
deafened you.
Oh. I just left the room and came back, so I was like, what the fuck's going on? But back to the story. I was
May
trying...
have locally deafened you, so check your key bindings.
Yeah. Well, I'm not touching the keyboard. I'm not touching the keyboard now. Fuck it. But I was trying to say is my brother and his friend Fez, we're not using his real name because he doesn't like his real name. They used to go mudding in front of an old, burnt-out, abandoned building that used to house fireworks in ditches that are like 4 feet deep and full of stagnant water. One day, in particular, my mom is driving home down 25th Avenue and just sees these two idiots from a distance away, popping in and out, sticking their heads out of these ditches full of really brown, nasty-looking water, while pushing a shopping cart. And her response is, "Where are your parents?" Then she got closer. And she realized who it was.
Where are your parents? Watching us, Mom.
As soon as she got closer, she's like, "Oh my God," and just screams at the top of her lungs from inside the truck, "Dear Lord, get in the back now. We're hosing you off when we get home." What the fuck are you doing? Man, that truck had some stories. Though the best story I would have to think though it would be the one time my mom actually got a dude pulled over at a traffic light. What happened was my brother was riding in the passenger seat. They pull up to I forget which traffic light it was. It was a red light, and then the jackass that drove up next over starts revving his engine. So my mom starts revving her engine. As soon as the light turns green, the guy peels out and floors it about 90 miles an hour. Doesn't even make it 60 feet when a cop pulls his ass over that he didn't see. And my mom drives by afterwards and just starts laughing like, "You fucking idiot."
Nice. Very nice.
Nice.
I've just been bear witness to these crazy or these silly stuff that happens in my life. Seph, you got a couple, or are we just gonna go straight to the meat of the show, which would be Adam, because he's got lots and lots of stuff to tell.
Oh Lord. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
I don't really have all that many stories because I don't get out much. I don't have the capabilities of getting out much.
Oh, I forgot back in the day you were a basement-dwelling wizard. I completely spaced on that.
Hey, I used to be a basement-dwelling wizard, but then I joined the Navy and saw the world.
Which is why we have you on, because you've actually seen shit.
I've done a lot of stupid shit. I've done a lot of stupid stuff. And I've seen even dumber stuff, which just every time blows my mind that somebody in this world decided to be dumber than me. I lose comprehension for life, the universe, and everything every time I see that shit. Where do you want me to start? Pick a time period.
I gotta think of one because
second deployment, training. Where do you want me to start?
Boot camp?
Boot camp? All right. Creepy kid stories, or oh my God, you're so dumb. How did you get away with that story?
Well, I have a story about my brother where he faked his own kidnapping, so something along those lines might be good.
Well, we did take a kid hostage. You'll hear a story about this kid later, but his name was Palumbo. He was the creepy kid. He used to watch people while they sleep. And I mean, not did his job as the watch and just paid attention. I mean, he'd stand over people's racks, their coffin lockers, panting. And he got caught, and, we didn't take too kindly to it. So we kicked out the dividers in his coffin locker, and we pushed him in there, and we locked it. And we kept him in there like that for about 15 hours. And
he must have pissed off a lot of people.
During roll and everything else, different people just said, "Here." there was so many people who did it. They couldn't punish us other than, just, making us work out like normal. They couldn't actually like have a huge punishment because they'd get in trouble for such a failure of leadership that many people did that big of a fuck up. So they had to let it slide, which is just a crowning moment in my life where I learned that there is such a point where you can fuck up so much that they'll sweep it under the rug so that they don't get dragged into your bullshit. It was a moment of just pure learning for me. But yeah, Palumbo got locked in his coffin locker for 15 hours, like pissed and shit himself for staring at people while they sleep. Put those batteries down, Woogie. You're not eating a D cell. Are you dumb? Watch Dino and Cupcake.
So I mentioned this story.
Trying to eat a battery.
So I mentioned this story. Again, it involves my brother and his friend Fez. This was during the time when I had a family member visiting from Florida. This was my cousin, which sadly she's no longer with us. She passed away about like 5 or 6 years ago to a heroin overdose. Figure that out. But when she was still alive, she rode with my mom to the local Food for Less. That was in Gary, to go get some stuff at the store. I forget what they were doing. And my brother and his best friend decided to ride in the back of the truck. Well, my mom and my cousin go inside the actual store for about 20 minutes to purchase the items that they need to get. My brother's friend Fez says to my brother, "Hey, I have a great idea."
That's always a lie.
Tie me up. Because my mom had nylon rope in the back, which she used for her pickup truck to tie shit down with. So, my brother, without even thinking for a second that this might be a bad idea, decides to hog tie him, or like bound his wrists, then bound his knees, or bound his ankles, start tying him up, gagged him with the rope, and then just let him sit in the back of the truck in broad daylight in a parking lot of a store that, like, on average 200 people at any given time frequent. And while bound and gagged, this dumbass is waving at people saying hi, or just motioning hi. And then my mom walks out and sees this and starts screaming, "What the fuck are you two idiots doing? Untie him now!" What if someone would have seen you? As soon as they're pulling out of the parking lot, the cops show up.
Oh, Lord.
Because someone called in an Amber Alert. Because these were two idiots.
Somebody call the Amber Lamps.
Because they saw this with no context. And then my mom has to explain to them, or explain to the police officers, that my brother and his best friend are two idiots.
Well, that shouldn't be that hard to explain. I mean, there's plenty of evidence.
And they're just saying, "Oh, you do realize that you got pulled us away from an actual," because apparently they got called away from a domestic disturbance. And they were saying, like, "Well, he can actually go to jail." My mom just starts screaming in front of my brother, "Go ahead, take him to jail. See what happens." And my brother's like, "Mom!" Oh, the best line was when his friend Fez, the one who got tied up, tried to explain what they were actually doing. The police officer said, "Oh, no, sir, you don't have to explain anything. You're the victim." So we don't need to take a state. You don't need to explain why you were tied up, sir.
Yes, he does. That is the dumbest cop ever. He's not the victim. There is no victim because nobody got. It's not a goddamn Amber Alert. Just how are you so dumb?
These were two minors. That's why it was considered an Amber Alert.
I get that, but they've explained. No, seriously, it's not an Amber Alert. Then there's no victim. other than there's a person who filed a false police report, but it wasn't your mom. Like, I don't. Rookie cops piss me off from doing so much time in law enforcement. Like, they really piss me off. It's like, no, you're talking to the wrong person. They really should be interviewing the person who called it in.
And I'm pretty sure it was like several people, considering that this was in broad daylight, that everyone saw this shit. And I find out later, because my mom tells this to my stepfather, which is my brother's actual dad. He's my half-brother. And I'm in my bedroom. I was playing a game at the time. Then I start hearing this story. And then I immediately hit mute on my TV and just start listening. And I'm trying to keep myself from bursting out laughing. And then finally it happens, and then my brother just immediately screams, "Oh, dear God, John's laughing at me now." That's as bad as...
At what point, right? Like,
tie me up!
But at what point is that a crime? I'd just be like, well, what's the crime? I said tie me up. That's voluntary. I just wanted to have some fun. Is that illegal? I thought this was America.
Keep in mind, this is like 2004, 2005. So, like, right when I first started college, and my brother's still in high school. I'm like, I'm 18, he's 17.
2004.
2004, 2000.
I was still...
I think you were still up here. Because we're still living in Gary.
I was still up there until halfway through that year when I ended up having to withdraw from Calumet High School up there, middle of senior year, to come down here to bumfucked Egypt and graduate in a class that I didn't know but like maybe one or two people.
Have you tried not bumfucking Egypt?
But it's right there.
Well, you'd have to.
I have to put my penis somewhere, Adam. I have to put my penis. I have to put my dick somewhere.
Heaven be it for me to throw aspersions at somebody, but I'm just saying perhaps that's not the best place for a penis.
It really isn't.
Oh, great. Now I'm the freak.
Penis should be going into a woman's vagina.
Listen, there's many places. I'm not going to discriminate against. You want to bang out an armpit, you can bang out an armpit. That's none of my business. But what is my business is maybe the whole country of Egypt should not be exposed to your penis.
Oh, God.
Listen, I'm a citizen of the world. I'm looking out for everyone here.
Very well. Very well.
I'll keep it in my pants. For now.
For now, what the hell is this? Some sort of...
We're not on Plex Storm, so I can't really whip it out.
Oh my, Plex Storm is its own little thing. I want to see what they'll ban people for, because they say, you know, as long as you don't do something that'll get them a copyright strike, they'll let you do anything. But I'm just... How true is that, is what I wonder.
Will they let you?
This is why I pretty much stick to Twitch.
Well, what I want to do is I want to do a stream where it's just two cameras. One is me pooping, and the other one is over my shoulder watching me play Pokemon on the DS. So then there's gameplay, which is their only rule. And it's just a fat guy pooping. Just 24 hours of a fat guy pooping. Sometimes I'll go to sleep. Who knows? We'll just stream it off the laptop and see what happens.
You know there's going to be people who are going to pay to see that.
I know, that's the worst part. Someone's going to ask to pay money to see my wiener. Like, it's not an impressive wiener. I'd pay money not to see it, honestly.
I'll be the first to admit it. My Peter is tiny.
Exactly.
So you got a tiny one too.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Everybody's got a tiny wiener, unless you're. Because you know why? You know why everybody you talk to online has a tiny wiener? Because if they had a giant wiener, they'd be doing porn.
That's true.
Because let me tell you, if I was swinging around 1.5 foot of chain, I'd be doing porn, or I'd be using it to keep my woman much happier than she is with what I've got right now. Let's go with that.
Well, at least it works. You got 2 kids.
That's true. That is very true. Love my kids. Love my kids. They're great people.
Yeah, being down here visiting my folks, because my sister's staying with my mom right now because of bullshit with her ex and the father of their child, because he doesn't want to pay child support, and he's a dick, and if I see him, I'm going to beat him in the face with a shovel.
Shovel time. Shovel
Which I do
time.
have a story involving something similar to that, which I'll go into.
Why use a shovel when you could use a hoe?
Because he is the hoe.
Exactly.
Oh my.
Put them together and you've got a whole garden.
But I've been exposed to my nephew, as well as my other nephew from my other brother that's down here. My nephew Landon, who's the one that actually stays over there with Mom and my sister, is one of the most needy childs I've ever come across. Oh, God forbid if you go into the bathroom to take a dump and you shut the door behind you, because he starts wailing because you didn't let him go in there to watch you poop.
You know, I'll tell you something. That's actually pretty normal behavior.
That is pretty normal behavior. I remember when
It's-
my niece would do the very same thing.
It's curiosity mixed with separation anxiety is what it is, really.
And yet my younger nephew Miles, who's not even a year old, or well, I think he's about a year old now, is has a completely different disposition. Where you tell him no, he's like, okay. Oh, I can't go in there. Okay, fuck it. Miles is a little baby, just doesn't give a shit. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well,
Doesn't
see,
cry, doesn't do anything. Where I'm like,
That's the rarity. That's
Yeah.
the rarity.
well, then again, he also has
Amelia-
an older sister as well by the name of Stormy. So
Amelia wants to help you poop. She comes up, can I help you? I don't quite. Can I help you? I don't think you can. It's poop. There's pretty much just poop. Like, what do you think you can help with? I don't know.
Landon doesn't
Grab a
even.
plunger and start plunging.
You're happy to see me? I'm happy to see you.
Which I did
You
tell.
want a
I'm like,
box
I
of cereal? No. Go lay down. You have
I
that
did
cereal.
tell Adam. I did tell my mother the story about don't touch my butt.
Hey, you don't get to touch her butt.
It's true.
We make sure. We make sure she tells people.
Wait till
You
she
can't
starts
touch my
going to
butt.
school. Jason has warned you numerous times.
I know what I'm doing. This will be excellent. There will be no problems here.
Aye.
Why
So
would
we
I
got
do
to
anything?
figure out another story to talk about because this is why we're here.
All right. Well,
I told 2. You got another one.
well, you want to talk about shitheads and shovels? I guess we can always tell the story of my sister and my mom. This is my mother's fault. God rest her soul. She was an amazing woman, but sometimes she had ideas that were just wrong. They were wrong. They were wrong. They were very wrong, and bad things happened. So me and my sister used to fight, like physically fight all the time. And one time, I just barely controlled myself while the punch was in motion, and I checked my swing and hit the chair behind her, and detonated a recliner. Like just a solo reclining chair. I busted all the springs out and 2 of the bolts. I hit it so hard it just fell apart on the fucking floor.
You
So-
are already dead. You went Ken Shiro on that thing.
Yeah, just one punched it to death. Saitama before Saitama was a glint in one's eye. But so my mom went, you know what? You two, if you're gonna fight, because I know she provokes you, and then I know you overreact. Go lay down. No green. She wants green juice. She has to wait.
Hey, I like green juice. Not bad.
Anyways, so she said, if you guys are gonna fight, go fight in the yard. So the next time we got in a fight, she locked us in the dog run, like with padlocks. And she said the only way someone's coming out is if there's only one person standing, or if you two work out your problems. So my sister thought, well, you know, it's in public. She's safe. Who would hit somebody else in public? I mean, come on. You'd be too ashamed to do that, right?
You should tell that to my brother.
Little does my sister know at the time, rage can override shame very quickly. So she kept shit talking, and then kicked me in the nuts.
Ooh. I just had to shift my legs for a second. Because that's something you don't do.
I just walked away from
check your nuts too.
I walked away from her. I went to the corner of the dog run where we kept the snow shovel that we used to, or the snow shovel and the scoop shovel with the rake. And I moved the snow shovel, put it down, got the scoop shovel that we used to pick up the dog's shit, and just rounded on her and one-bapped her right in the corner of the head with a dirty shit shovel. And she went down like a sack of bricks, and I just knocked on the door. I was like, Mom, I'm standing.
She's not. Let me out.
Let me in. I've got stuff to do. That was not the outcome my mother wanted. That was supposed to be, you wouldn't ever do this. You'd be too embarrassed to do this. No human being would do this. Well, that's where you're wrong.
My other brother, not the one that did all the crazy shit with Fez, back in the day, this happened like 7 or 8 years ago, did this to a guy, which pissed him off, and he had to leave the town because of it. They're at a bonfire. This one asshole was messing with my brother's cat, which was a kitten at the time, he kept sticking his finger in the cat's asshole for some reason. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. They're crazy rednecks. I don't understand how they think. But my brother says, I don't know. My brother says, stop fucking with my cat. This dude just kept doing it until my brother's next reaction was, okay, I have a spade shovel next to me. I'm going to pick it up. And then he bashes the dude in the face with the shovel and then said, I told you to stop touching my cat. He had to leave town after that. Because
I'm still very confused because why the butthole?
I don't know.
Probably was trying to get intimate with that cat.
It was a female cat. There's more than one hole. I don't know. It's a stoner redneck. I don't know. I don't know how these people think down here.
I've only got brown eyes for you. I mean, what?
Oh, speaking of redneck things, my co-host Black Storm, he said he wants me while I'm down here to get him some moonshine, because apparently I have family members who can make it.
Yeah, that's an Ohio thing.
Yeah,
that's not even like a joke. Like my ex-wife had uncles that made moonshine.
He wants to have some for when Christmas rolls around, so he can spike his family's eggnog and not tell them. He wanted to do that last year, but my mom's boyfriend had to tell him, like, no, I can't get any on this short notice.
Well, see, the problem with that is, right? And it's a rookie move, but it's an understandable rookie move. I've made that rookie move before. Eggnog does not take alcohol above 40 proof very well.
Let me guess, it coagulates?
Yeah, it starts curdling
Hey, I got
very
that one
quickly.
right.
Very, very quickly. My father and I used to make holiday white Russians. That was eggnog, vodka, and Sailor Jerry's spiced rum. And it's too much alcohol and just starts turning into eggnog cottage cheese. So you have to drink it super fast.
Ew.
I gotta play this clip for my brother because I'm pretty sure he's gonna end up making it.
It's very delicious. Give me that. Those are your mommy's needles. Don't do that. That's for sewing. Lay down or I'm spanking you. You know you're not supposed to get into your mother's stuff, okay?
Spank me, baby, one more time.
Dude, she's like 3!
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's kind of fucked up, man.
Do you understand me, child? Understand me. Good. No more. No more bad girl stuffs. Thank you for being a good girl now. For unfucking yourself.
Kitty.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we know distractions.
Mhm.
I warned Seph about it, so I knew it was gonna happen. So why not?
It's Woogie. She was so good yesterday, but today she's just not having it.
She wants to be she wants to have attention.
She
Most
wants to
Most
dig
toddlers
into
like
her
that.
mother's. Well, no, it's not. She doesn't want the attention. She wants me to not pay attention to her, and she gets very nervous when I do, because she's trying to sneak into give me that, you bungo. She's sneaking into her mother's stuff and snapping hair ties. And she's lucky I'm here and not her mother, because her mother would tan her hide. Whereas I am being very reasonable in an unreasonable situation.
I do have to ask this question: when she gets too old to be spanked, are you going to graduate her to the wooden spoon?
Oh, Lord. No, the wooden spoon is reserved for assholes who wake me up when I'm drunk and high.
Because that's what my mom did for us when we became close to adults. We got too big to spank, wooden spoon across the knuckles. That got the point across. And it didn't matter if you weren't the kid, or like you weren't her kid or not either. If you were one of our friends and you came over and you were acting up, you would get it too.
No, that wouldn't fly today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But,
Ben's learned the hard way about that, though.
No, I plan on.
Thankfully, I was good enough because I never had to worry about that.
Well, you were never over at my place to begin with, so whatever.
What do you mean?
You were there 3 times.
I used to come over there to your place every now and then.
I had to go over to your place more often than not.
But most of the time, you had to come over to my place to hang out.
Yeah, because you had the basement with all the cool shit in it.
But whenever I did come over to your house, I never really had to worry about getting the wooden spoon across my nickels.
Wait,
because
did you just say you got them across your nipples? I was thinking that too. What kind of kinky shit are you into, Seph? Are you like Black Storm, who said that he wants to have a car battery attached to his nipples?
No, I don't want a car battery attached to my nickels. I can't words. I don't want a car battery attached to my nipples. I'd rather it be attached to my penis instead. I mean, what?
Ow. Ow, my brain.
Can we not electrify our wieners? Is that something we can try for?
Yeah.
That's not how you make it glow in the dark. You're supposed to wear a condom for that, damn it.
I mean,
I think I used all of those for balloons.
Terry Davis has a different thing about how people glow in the dark, but we're not going to say that on here. But it has to do with joining the bring that to me right now. You really need to stop, child. It has to do with joining the CIA. Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Don't you lose your identity once you join the CIA?
No, that's the Men in Black.
Yeah, when you join the CIA, according to Terry Davis, you turn chocolate and glow in the dark. Let's go with that. That's a good euphemism that won't get you in trouble, right? Turn chocolate and glow in the dark. Oh Lord, why is Terry so weird?
Damn it! Now I want chocolate. And I just remember I still have some from when I went to Albany's this week.
I'm so glad I helped you out. Amelia, get on the bed.
I need to be fat. I'm losing weight, but I need to be fat. I kind of want my chocolate right now.
I'm doing quite the opposite. I think the last time I stepped on a scale, I tipped it at like a little over 400 pounds.
Jesus! I'm down to like 200 something. I'm trying to get under 200.
Yeah, I can't get under 200 until I solve this brain cancer crap.
Yeah, I understand that.
But
I understand that.
Yeah, my grandma passed away last year from brain cancer, so I know what it's like.
Did she get Cushing's from it too?
I do remember my mom gave her a lot of weed so she can keep her food down.
Well, I didn't have that. I don't have that problem, thankfully. But it's on the pituitary and it's giving me Cushing's, so I'm just growing, just like fluffing up like a marshmallow. But I'm doing my best to keep my weight as close to 250 as possible.
Because I do remember, I don't know if I wanted to get Seph to listen to it. While I was having him listen to the episode that you did with Twisted and Seawall about the stories, and at your peak you're at like under 120.
You never sent me a link to it.
I sent you a link on this.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. At my prime Navy weight?
Yeah.
Okay, so I joined the Navy at 89 pounds as a 5'11" adult. I left boot camp at 115. I did my first year and got through that at 105 because I lost a lot of muscle. And then during my peak weight on ship, like my peak of performance when I was scuttling behind machinery and getting into all the tight spaces, I was 125. But yeah, I was a skinny boy. I was literally half the man I am today.
Sounds like my friend General back in the day, before we made him put on weight. He was like 6'8" tall black man, 120 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, that was. They made me put on weight for the Navy. I was underweight.
Because basically you were toothpicks at that point.
Yeah, I was under the weight. They were like, "Listen, we don't have a minimum weight anymore because of legal reasons, but we can't let you in because we can't calculate your BMI. So we have to tell you to go gain weight until we can measure a BMI, and then we can tell you whether or not you can join."
Wow.
So yeah, they made me get over 100 pounds before they'd let me ship out. Like, you can sign all the paperwork, but we cannot let you get on the plane to boot camp until you're over 100 pounds.
I gotta talk to my stepdad about some of the stories that he was a bear witness to when he was in the Air Force. Because that was back in the 80s during the Cold War. And we actually,
oh, Lordy.
Yeah, we lived, for the first couple of years of my life, we lived on an Air Force base. I actually have old home videos of that when I was a toddler.
What kind of base is that I'm living next to? Because we get a lot of airplanes come through every now and then.
It could just... What kind of airplanes? Because I live in Hammond, and I used to live in Gary, and I was near an airport. And so we would get a lot of jetliners. I think it's different from what Adam's experienced.
Campbell is a U.S. Army installation.
Do you see people with guns at the front?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know what the fuck where he's talking about.
Fort Campbell, Kentucky / Tennessee. It's on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. That's the Army base near here. And apparently it's home to the 101st Airborne Division, the 1BC 327th Infantry Regiment, the 2BCT 502nd Infantry Regiment. And these are all numbers I don't even know.
Because you're not a military man.
Because I'm not a military man.
Not so much either, but I do have family members that were.
I'm not Army. I don't know their aircraft.
All right.
However,
Can you land it on a carrier? No? Then I don't know it.
however, my dad, I don't know what branch he was in, but he's a veteran. And he goes to Fort Campbell every now and then for the VA hospitals.
I will say this. I wish I lived closer to one of those so that I could go to the VA more easily, because closest VA facility is in Boise, and that is over an hour and a half away.
Yeesh.
Yeah, for us, it's about an hour and a half drive.
Yeah,
So
it's
roughly
about
the same
then.
distance.
Yeah. But at least it's also on a PX, not just a VA hospital.
Hell, honestly, if I ever get the capability to, I wouldn't mind moving down there by Fort Campbell, because there's a whole bunch of infrastructure down there. There's all sorts of businesses, and hell, on one side of the highway that goes down through Fort Campbell area, on one side is the Army base. The other side almost looks identical to Killer 30 up there in Gary, up there in Maryville and Gary, Indiana, that area.
Yeah.
There's just all
If you
sorts
guys will
of
excuse me for one moment, I have to go
commercial
put
property
Amelia
down
in her
along there.
room.
Okay. Seph.
There's just
I was about to say real name.
all sorts of businesses and other establishments down through there. It would be like the perfect place to be, because I'm sure they would have more than enough opportunity down over there. Not where I'm currently situated at right now, because I hate it here.
I still live in Hammond. And I've learned also that I have to deal with idiot neighbors. I'll wait till Adam
So
gets...
you still live in that same place in Hammond?
Yeah, the big building. I have to tell Adam about it. Because I basically live in a bunker. I'll tell Adam about it. I'm like, this is the only way to describe it, is just a big cement building.
Yeah, you're in a bunker, all right.
It was in the family.
If World War III comes through, you'll be safe.
No, I won't. It's a concrete building. I said it's not an actual military bunker, and I live close enough to Chicago that if the bombs fall, I'm still screwed.
Uh-oh. Don't be screwed.
Like, we're talking about my current place that I stay at, which this building is a gigantic warehouse type building made out of solid cement that used to belong to my folks. And we're describing it as a bunker because it can withstand a tornado. And my actual place is a small little apartment inside this big warehouse, and the rest of it was used by my great-grandfather to store all the shit that he had, which was like cars. He had his own wood shop. He had a separate little apartment for my Uncle Judd, who just passed away like last month, which we finally had the funeral or the memorial last weekend because he was just we just had him cremated. But
I can attest to that too because I've been there.
yeah, this is a big, or like it's a big building. Now it's being used. It belonged to my family ever since it was owned by my great grandparents, which they lived there until like the early 2000s when both of them passed away. Which I was lucky to actually know them, so I at least saw them as they lived until I was an adult. So that's kind of cool. Then my grandma owned it. Then she sold it to the current owner, who uses who rents out the actual storage area for like to other people to store shit, as well as that's where he keeps all his tools and other really old memorabilia that he's collected over the years. Like he has a cart that's from like the 1920s just stored in there. It's like one of those old school cars and shit that you expect to have a horse-drawn carriage and has lantern lights on it.
That's pretty cool.
This is also the same building that got flooded that one year, which I had to spend 2 hours pumping out the entire warehouse portion.
It was 2 hours pumping. That sounds like
I didn't have an actual pump to use. I used a wet dry vac because that's all he had on hand. So, and I was like, fuck it. I don't have to wade through this because I have to go through the warehouse part. Fortunately, it didn't go anywhere in my apartment, so I was fine. But
I'm just saying it sounds like the least epic Indian name ever. Two dogs humping meet 2 hours pumping. You have a lot in common.
Oh, God. You just reminded me of the old Indian nicknames that my stepfather gave me and my brother. They were just as awful. I was squatting dog. My brother was pooping squirrel.
I think that's just a time frame thing, because my parents did that with me, too.
I'm roughly almost the same age as you. I'm 32, and you're in your mid-30s as well.
Yeah.
I'm roughly the same age as well.
You're the youngest of the three here, though.
I got the distinction of being Big Chief Rain in the diaper. I didn't even piss myself that much. That was just their thing. My dad loved pee jokes.
He's technically my stepdad because he's not my actual biological father, but he's the guy who raised me, so he's dad. He had a thing for poop jokes when we were growing up. I don't know why. It was just his thing that he liked doing.
He liked poop jokes. He just really liked poop. I understand that. My dad really likes pee. He thinks pee's funny.
So he liked his shitty jokes?
He liked good jokes, but he just liked poop. My dad liked pee. The other guy's dad. Poop. Now, I made my dad not like poop, though. He definitely hates poop now.
Are we getting an Amelia story?
No, this is a me story. So, my first deployment, I thought I'd be an asshole. And I told the story on Rary's morning show in text. I didn't give the voice version, so congratulations.
We're getting a first here, guys.
First time on this story. So my first deployment, I thought I got my parents a lot of gifts from different ports. I got my dad a pewter stein from Malaysia, and I got my sister a diamond so she could design her own wedding ring. I got it from Dubai for her. Got my mother some stuff, some decorations. But I did something to my father. Every day, the first shit of the day, I'd take a picture and save it. And I grabbed a postcard from every port that I got or time off in. I got port time in. And I got to Walmart and I had all the pictures developed when I got home. And I sent them to him in one of those if it fits it ships boxes. And it was a compilation of my most relaxing moments. My first most relaxing moment of the day, every day I was at sea. And then a picture of the most relaxing places I visited. Just hundreds of turds. Just 6 months of turds.
I remember
Right there.
I remember one year my dad got for Christmas. Someone gave him a cow patty, a literal thing of cow shit in a box.
But why?
I don't know. I just remember that being a thing when we were growing up.
That is weird.
You took it one step beyond, sir. Though I applaud you.
I'm saying that's weird, but yeah, I took pictures of poop for my father. Like, I don't get to judge. Who the shit am I to judge that?
Oh dear Lord.
So are you telling me that after you took a shit, you would turn around and take a picture of it to send it to you?
Yes.
Yes, I had like a bunch of poop pictures on my phone. And then I took it to the Walmart photo center, took the memory card out of the phone, put it in that sumbitch, and got poop pictures. 178 poop pictures.
And you didn't get the call from the management team saying, "Do not come here again, sir."
Well, it's one of those instant photo centers. Nobody had to handle it. Like, I thought about doing it with the little disposable cameras so that somebody'd have to handle hundreds of pictures of poop. But at the same time, I didn't want to end up on a fucking watch list. Like, that's the sort of shit they make creepy movies about.
Oh dear Lord. You just went on, or like you just made a good segue because we're probably going to wind down because we've already been going over an hour. You do a show on Friday nights.
I do. I actually got to pick the movie tonight.
Which, if you subscribe for, actually, it's for Lorecat's campaign, or if you follow, or Patreon campaign, or if you follow him on Twitch, or yeah, whatever, subscribe or what.
Subscribe on Twitch, yeah.
You guys get to see it too.
That's true. That's true. Since this is coming out post-script everything, since that I can drop the movie. I picked They Live this week. We'll see if Jason actually gives it to me or gives me a curveball, but I had requested They Live. It seems very topical. I've been doing a lot of political shows, and the more I do them, the more I look around and go, They Live might be the most woke thing that was ever created.
Dear Lord. I remember seeing that as a kid, and it freaked me out. And I'm like, there's no way the world would turn out to be this way. And dear Lord, oh man. I remember the days when I was so hopeful for the future. And then this is what we get.
Future? We live in the now.
Listen, everybody's now is somebody else's future.
And someone else's past.
Well,
Touché.
no, not necessarily someone else's past. You don't know if the now is going to be the last moment. Can't make that declarative statement.
Touché, good sir. Touché.
And now all that's going through my head is, I can see the future!
Well, Gohan's the strongest in the world, but still doesn't do shit.
Oh, I do have one more story I want to talk about because I told my mom I would be telling this story. And this gives you an idea, Adam, of how crazy we Ashers are. And me being the black sheep in the family, who's a pacifist by nature, is completely, well, Tim's not going to get, or Seph's not going to get the reference to this. But
That will need to be edited out.
you have a generic name. I've been on shows with five other the same name. You're a name after a Monty Python joke. Shut up. But
it's still, you're doing post processing, so yeah, it's a good.
yeah,
I'll
I'll just cut it. Whatever, I don't care. But we have a saying for the Asher family: we don't get mad, we get even. And this is a story about my mother when she was still in high school. And this term, Seph, you're not going to get the reference. Adam, you will. She went full Hans.
Oh my.
Freshman year in high school, this was before my mom hit her growth spurt, and she's roughly my size now, and I'm like 5'9", 5'10". She was like about 4.5, almost 5 feet tall. started going to, or I'm like, this is back in like late 70s or 80s. I don't remember when she graduated. I would have to ask her. But she would start going to college or high school. Going to high school, freshman, 14 years old. And then there's this big bull-ass dyke who would pick on her every single day. And we're talking about butch, as in 6 foot tall, 300 pounds, wears a flannel shirt with no sleeves, shaves her head.
Yeah, the name's not Debbie. It's Deborah.
The woman could have been called Tank for all I cared, or Bubba. But
I was going to say, the lesbians whose name might be Diesel and plays fucking volleyball on the concrete.
speaking of which, one day in particular, she grabbed my mom's purse in the parking lot of the school and then dumped it out in front of everybody. My mom had just started getting her periods, so she had her tampons in there. And it got dumped out in front of everybody. And this bull-ass dyke just immediately starts laughing. Oh, little girl's finally becoming a woman. Oh, look at that. I forget what she said, but she did something to make my mom ridiculously upset. Starts laughing, turns around, walks away. My mom immediately jumps on this woman's back, who's twice her size, knocks her over, and starts beating her face into the pavement. Grabbed her by the back of the head and just started lifting up and just slamming it right up and down, fucking Punisher style.
Maybe don't do that over a purse, but good on her. I can't say I'd want Amelia to do anything different were it her, but I can say were it not anybody I knew, I'd be looking at them like, could we try maybe not?
She fucked up this woman's face so bad she had to go to a dentist later that week to have braces put in to fix her fucking teeth because she knocked so many of them out. And for the rest of the school year, that dyke didn't even approach her at that point. It's just after 3 months of fucking with my mom just went completely Super Saiyan on her ass and just beat her face into the pavement. And she didn't even get suspended for it. She was going to, and then my grandmother's like, "You better not," because she was proud of her apparently.
Yeah, I'd be proud of her too.
These are I'm like, the Ashers are the friendliest people that you will ever meet, but don't cross them. I'm just warning you right now because you will not live to regret it. And I'm the pacifist of the group. And I have been prone to doing certain things which I am not proud of. And, well, I'm just not going to go into that, but it has happened in the past where I've hit my limits.
Everybody has an oopsie.
Yep. Even I have my pushing my points where I get pushed to, and Seph's actually met me in real life, and I'm a pretty laid back dude.
Yeah, he is. He's very pacifist. I can attest to that.
I'm like, it's just, but the Asher in me when you've messed with someone we care about.
It does take a lot to piss him off.
Well, that's good. That's a,
Though
nice
I've become
person.
more cynical in my years. Sadly, I used to be optimistic. That was wonderful. Oh boy, but I'd like to thank you, Adam, for taking the time to do this.
Oh, no problem. It was fun.
I figured it would because you like doing these stuff, and like I said, you were the impetus for me starting this show. You and Jay, we just talk and just swap stories and just something, or like, because usually I do this with my normal co-host who was in the pilot, because the reason we started doing this was we would just go off on tangents in weird places, and I said we should probably record this, and it never did. So you have shows that you host that you are co-hosts on, which I'm telling my listeners right now you need to pay attention. I'm linking them in the description. Care to describe what they are, Adam?
Oh, it's a multitude. I'm not a regular on some of these. I'm just a guy who comes into color, but I'm almost always in the chat for all of them. Let's see. If you're in the morning decay with Optic and Broski, I'm on there very, very occasionally, but they do good stuff. It's an art stream that's just casual, laid back stuff. Some topical pop culture discussion. They generally have fun. Those guys are good guys. Optic Decay and Montreal Broski. They're great. If you're into politics, I do Heel Turn with Joaquin Hawk. It's a right wing politics show, so if you're left wing and don't want to listen to that, don't.
I have to interrupt right there because you brought up Heel Turn, and I actually did message Jonesy online with in regards to your guys' favorite new Twitter hashtag.
Oh.
Of start a fight on Twitter.
Oh, Twitter Fight Club?
Yeah. I remember the one message I sent him was, he says, dude, I forget what it was. I would have to actually pull up the tweet, and I don't have my browser open right now. But my response was, it was Jonesy saying, pick a random person to pick a fight with. And my response to him was, okay, should I get a 3-foot-long black dildo to pit people with? Would that start a fight with someone? And he just sent me, and he sent one word response, yes. I'm bringing up
Jonesy's
Twitter.
Great. Jonesy's great. I love Jonesy. He's hilarious.
He is. Which
he doesn't like talking on his own show. He's the producer over there. But it's a good show for politics, like I was saying. If you're super left wing, I would not suggest it because you might get mad, and who needs to make themselves mad? Nobody. If you like variety like this show, you'll probably love Top Kek Studios, Top Kek Weekly. We do that on Sundays, or Drop Dead Cynical on Saturdays.
Which I am an avid listener to. I wish I could actually contribute to your guys' Patreon, but I am broke.
Hey, no worries.
Bills take priority, so.
Yeah, bills always take priority. Jason's always said people need to do themselves first.
I find other ways to see what I can do to actually contribute. Like, I still remember when he did XP Fest. I wasn't able to go to that, but I contributed to the swag boxes for that.
Yeah, exactly. There's also, if ever you find yourself where you have a little bit of extra cash but don't want to do something monthly, we do have the merch store, the TeePublic store for Drop Dead Cynical and Top Kek Studios. We got that
one of those mugs.
We got some really cool mugs from Jeg and Dan doing the designs, and we've got Jeg did the design I suggested for the anti-Destiny shirt, the allegedly shirt that's got a baby rattle and a Glock crossing each other. And it just says allegedly in an arc above it, and it's on a field of red.
Seph has no idea what we're talking about because
I envy Seth. I remember.
I'm just sitting here going, "What the fuck?"
Should we introduce them to the farms? I need to sign up for those myself. Should we, or should we keep them in the dark?
It's up to him if he wants to take that jump, but I can give him the lowdown. So Kiwi Farms is kind of this will probably be the last segment for the show, is a repository for autism. Just all of the most autistic shit on the internet. And I'm not talking like real people with autism. I mean like Spurgs acting Spurgy and then blaming autism for being Spurgs. It's just, they are just the worst people. And everybody's, once you read it, there's hundreds of thousands of cows that are logged there, and they're called lol cows because you laugh at them and they're cows, and they give you their milk of tears and stupidity. But everybody has their own favorite lol cow to hate.
You have your own friends.
Jason likes Amberlynn Reed and Dobson, and I absolutely hate Destiny because the guy gets ass mad on the internet and touches kids allegedly. I would never say he does it, but allegedly, which is why the shirt's named allegedly, touches kids, thinks that incest is a good idea, and definitely not allegedly because he said he did it, bought a Glock, got a concealed carry license, and planned a route to kill a kid and his whole family because the dude was DDoSing him on the internet while playing games. Like an absolute man baby.
Who also looks like an Auschwitz victim. Because
he definitely looks like Eugenia Cooney's younger brother, and he's, a 40-year-old man who's 5'3" on a day he's stretched a lot.
Just wow.
All right, I'm sending you the link, Seph. But I did mention in a when we were setting up for like a couple days ago, make sure that everything would go swimmingly. He doesn't know the wonders about wheat farms on the moon, or the threat that is moon rocks.
Well, I remember when my life was, happy and clean. I don't get to be like that anymore, but I remember when my life was happy and clean.
There are two names associated with those, and I'm going to leave you with that, Seph. Movie Bob, friend of the show, Bob Chipman, or friend of Drop Dead Cynical anyway, as well as Brianna Wu. You don't want to associate yourselves with these people, trust me. For your own sake.
I will just stay away from them then.
Brianna Wu is going to be the first, definitely not a transsexual senator.
I will just steer clear of it.
When you encounter internet autism, just steering clear of it is probably the best choice. Like, it is like war games. A strange game, this chess. The only winning move is not to play.
Although, I will leave this comment here.
There's a link to Kiwi Farms. I sent it to you.
Talking about autism as if it's such a negative, derogatory term kind of hurts.
Which is why I clarified they aren't actually autistic. They're
not like you,
because
Seph. They're not like you or me who actually do have a diagnosed condition for that. These are idiots who act like this to get attention. There's a difference.
And then blame it on a condition they don't have.
This is why we laugh at them. Because we see, or because I do have a form of autism. I'm just gonna be completely upfront of that. I'm not gonna say exactly what it is, but it's high functioning. I laugh at these people because they do shit I would never do.
No human being would do this stuff. Like, it doesn't matter what disorder you have. You could be blind, dumb, retarded, and think that the sky is purple because you smell funny shapes, and you couldn't act like this. It is just absolutely frightening.
This is the level of thinking that ends up with 6 times 4 equals Bob. Because a light bulb told them to do that, to say that. Does it make sense?
6 times 4 does equal Bob.
Does it make sense? No!
I wonder what Bob smells like. I bet it's purple.
But yeah, Seph, these are the kind of people that get made fun of. At least I don't have to explain for a third time why waterfalls don't exist. I had to have that conversation with my brother.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad premise. It's a very logical, very consistent premise. Waterfall can't exist because it's a description and not a noun.
Correct.
Adjectives don't exist.
Correct. All right, Severoth, you got stuff that you want to promote too. I got to link your stuff in the description as well.
No, I don't.
Don't you have a Twitch?
I'm currently on hiatus.
Oh, okay. Because I do know you had a Twitch.
I still have that Twitch, but I haven't streamed for 3-4 months now.
Okay.
Because of circumstances beyond my control.
They probably have the greatest of intentions, though.
That doesn't even work. He doesn't work for the same company.
They're that crazy. Let's leave it at that. They are at that level, Adam.
Oh Lord, I'm sorry.
I've met them. They are.
I'm so sorry.
I'm currently in a situation where I just want to get out of where I'm living at. because my life is a living hell. That
Well,
is
I'm
all
very
I will say.
I'm very sorry to hear that. No one deserves to have a rough. Well, deserve is a wrong word. I'm sorry. No one needs to be put in that situation.
At least it's better.
Which is why I have taken a hiatus.
You just don't want to deal with
Most
it.
of my following, well, not most, I should say, all of my following already knows that I'm in pretty much ship up a creek without a paddle. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, we'll leave it at that because I don't think you.
But
Want,
other
I
than
don't think
that-
you want to go into the details. I think if you want to keep it private, I
Other
completely
than
understand
that,
that.
Other than that, yes, I did stream on Twitch. I streamed video games. I streamed myself playing video games on Twitch. And I've actually got a pretty unique username on that site.
Yeah, I saw. How did you manage to snake that?
That's actually a pretty good story.
And here you were like, "Oh, I don't have
Back
any
in
good stories."
2014, it was January of 2014. Back in the 2013, 2014 holiday season, Twitch was running name change contests through their Twitch support Twitter handle. And all you'd have to do was twice every Wednesday go in and retweet and like a specific tweet that they put out twice a day on Wednesday. And towards the tail end of that weekly campaign, I was entering in pretty much twice a day whenever they did that. And towards the very tail end of that, I happened to have my Twitter handle pulled from the list of people that retweeted. And so I was sent a DM from the Twitch support Twitter account to fill out a Google spreadsheet of the username of what my current username is, what the new username I wanted to have was, and I inquired about if it's still taken, is it possible to get it? And I put all that into that Google form. The next day I wake up, my username is magically Sephiroth on Twitch.
I have a
Yeah.
I have a Twitter story too where I won something. It wasn't a name change. I actually got something physical. This happened last year, around my birthday, right when Puyo Puyo Tetris was being launched for the Switch. The actual official Twitter account for that had a host where they would pick a random person who would follow and retweet, and I was randomly picked. They sent me a coffee mug, which I use. Another cup, which was Tetris, and they sent me a waifu doll. It's the only one I own because I got it for free.
Oh my!
Like half my almost all my vinyl figurines, because I have ones of ponies as well, were all given to me. I didn't buy these. I either won them or someone bought them for me.
How do I own you?
I have at one point in time I had 2 Derpy Hooves figurines, which I sold one because they were given to me.
My daughter has a figurine from that series.
I have several. All of them were given to me, and
Speaking of,
and they all stay on a shelf where people look at them, and that's it. I've seen those videos on what. I don't want to be one of those people.
Come on, don't you want to have a meet the Dick of Doom?
No, I don't want. I don't want those people. I don't want those. I don't want to be one of those freaky guys that has the pony plushies and shit, or the toys that they just do videos, creepy videos with them, where we go for a walk or for a party or whatnot. No, mine stay on a shelf where people can look at it. And that's it.
Yeah, that's good.
It collects dust. Because I'm not that crazy. I have toys I do play with, and those are my consoles.
It's good philosophy.
Yeah.
So speaking of the whole My Little Pony franchise,
Why are we going down this hole? Oh God, why did we jump down this hole?
I've got a few other friends of mine that wanted me to at least give it a try. Watch an episode or two, but it just didn't click with me.
It depends on which episode. There's some I still need to see. Like the one in particular is where apparently, well, let's just say, I know the name. I know the fucking names of the ponies. Twilight Sparkle just goes completely OCD and insane.
He had me start from the very, very beginning.
Oh, there's your mistake right there. I would go with the one where she just completely goes bat squeak insane and just go with that one. Because that is the pure prime definition of insanity.
But regardless...
Yeah, I haven't watched it myself for a long time either, so...
After that one, he did send me another one, which, again, I don't recall what episode it was, but it just didn't really stick with me. I wasn't really interested in it, as I've got my interests in several other things at the moment.
You know, there's something that says about me with my YouTube history. When the most popular thing that still gets comments to date for me was something I did 5 years ago, and that was a fanfic reading for a My Little Pony fanfic that I did the audiobook for. And yet, that's the one that gets the most views on my channel. What the shit? And I still keep getting messages. I'm like, when are you going to do another one of these? How about you pay me?
Fuck you, pay me.
How about you pay me first, then I'll consider doing another one, because that was during the summer when I was down in Ohio and I was bored because there's nothing to do down here. And I was down there for a month.
I'm sure there's a lot more you can do now, because I think back then when you were in Ohio, you didn't have access to the internet.
Oh, no, I did during that time. That was like 5 or 6 years ago. But that still gets comments to this day, and it baffles my mind. I'm like, you seriously? I'm like, I applaud you, but I have other things that I do. I don't want to be named for one fanfic that I read online like 6 years ago because I was bored. And yet that's the most popular thing on my channel, and it blows my fucking mind. Which I'm starting to consider, I'm like, I probably should do one, but I want you guys to pay me to do it. Then maybe I can consider it. Give me an incentive.
Well, there is incentive in and of itself. If you do more of them, you may end up getting more subscribers, which will
but I don't really want to do
over that limit.
I don't.
So you can monetize your videos
Again,
because
I was pissed when they took that away, because I was monetizing that shit. And yet, whatever.
Again,
We just went on this tangent.
This is another reason why myself and
You just disappeared.
several others that I know through Twitch who used to do YouTube quit YouTube.
The Twisted Sin guys? The group that you were a part of?
As far as the Twisted Sin guys, that's all history. I honestly don't even want to talk about them either.
Oh.
But enough of that. The whole shitstorm of YouTube, I'm not a big fan of. Now, over
I have
on
one more.
Twitch, I am affiliated with Twitch. I can monetize my content on Twitch. I actually, even though I haven't streamed in several months, I still have a few paid subscribers to my Twitch channel.
In the hopes that you come back, which I hope you actually do, because you did have I popped in from time to time when you were still streaming, so I did see the following. And people are willing to give you money, so why not keep doing it if they're willing to throw money at you?
I know, and I would like to get into a situation where I can give them a much better and higher quality broadcast than I can with only 6 megs down and 0.6 megs up.
Oh, jeez. Good thing I'm recording this locally on my end, then. The one I have one
again.
Yeah, I have another.
One of the reasons why I'm taking a hiatus.
Yeah,
is because I want to get a better internet connection before I do return.
I have one more story I want to talk about because I want Adam's reaction to this. And this involves one of my friends I went to college with, and why for about 10 years or so, for like several years, he was not allowed to own a computer with internet. I had a friend who came from Wales. We'll call him Britman. Captain Brit. We'll call him Captain British. His actual username was something else. You guys still there? I think I went audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I'm here.
Well, Captain British. I'm not saying his actual name because don't dox people, please. That would be bad. That's the quote. I have to quote Adam on that. But he actually got in a wee bit of trouble because back in like the late 90s, he hacked into the BBC. You want to know how he did this? He was just playing around with it. This is back when he had dial-up. He was just playing around with different numbers until he finally found the IPS address or whatever. It allowed him to get to the BBC's main channel. And actually their main servers. And he tried to start deleting shows he didn't like on there. That got him in a bit of a heap of trouble for that. Not as crazy as some of the stories Adams bear witness to, but it was just something that was ridiculous that he told me about. I'm like, yeah, I can't have a computer for like about 10 years. I'm on the watch list because of this. Of course, that's all past now because he told me that story like about 5 or 6 years ago. And he's online now, so whatever. Apparently, everything's all said and good. Not as bad as what I do remember one story that Adam did talk about. If maybe you can clarify about how you got an entire aircraft carrier and half of the Navy blocked from a certain site.
Oh, we don't need to talk about that.
I'll just link to the I'll send a link to Seph later about that story because you went about it in the past. It's still funny when we look at those idiots back then. Case in point, I no longer have their merchandise. I sold mine.
Well, then there's that.
Yeah. So, anything else you guys want to promote?
No, I'm good. I gotta roll back. I gotta start getting ready.
Again, Adam, I thank you for taking the time to do this. I'm going to edit this tonight. It may go up later tonight, or it may go up tomorrow. I'll message you whenever it does. At least you had fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll be expecting a link to it as well.
Yeah, I'll send it to you on Twitter as well. Oh, and while I still have you on the line, Adam, can you send me a link to all the stuff that you told me about? Because I want to put it all in the description.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just send it to me on Twitter.
I can still send DMs.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to Twitter all that much.
I'll send it to you later. I'll send it to you over
Discord
Steam then.
Or Steam.
Yeah, I'll send it to you over Steam then.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this has been much longer than anticipated. We've been going on for almost 2 hours now, at least an hour and a half. All right. I'll see you guys next time for when I do another show. It may be next time when I'm back down back from Ohio. I'll have to talk to the people, mainly Black Storm, to see when he wants to do another show. Say bye, everybody.
See how that goes. Bye, everybody.
Give you guys. I don't even know what I just said. That was a sentence I spat out. Bye.